Hey, folks, it is really good to see you. Well, I changed the bumper coming in, so let's see if this video gets banned on Facebook in 283 countries. Um, it's interesting to me because you create these stock pieces, and then you use them as bumpers and trailers, and then like you're told, oh, this is Commons, this is whatever, and then you're no one can see your videos. So anyway, I'm in a unique space, uh, especially this week. I'm in a unique space, and I wanna share this with you from a perspective. And you know what? Let's get all professional here. Let's put a little something behind it. All right. Um, okay. So and maybe what we'll do is we'll turn that volume down. There we go. There we go. Ah. So this week especially, I'm in two very different spaces. There's a customer that's been with us for years. I have extended myself. I've said this on other lives. I've extended myself. I've done tasks. I've done favors. I've done a lot of pro bono work for this particular customer. I let their personal circumstances kind of influence me a little bit, and I was like, "Yeah, I can help you with that, or I can help you with this, or And there were times where she got almost a little demanding, like, "Well, I need to have this done pretty quickly," and I was like, "Well, if you want me to give you a quote and share it with a team member so someone else on the team can do it for you, we could go that route. But if you need this done for free, right? If you need a favor, you're gonna have to be patient enough to wait until I have that time on the schedule to do it for you, because I'm not paying someone else to do work for you. Like but I can help you out. Like, I know how this stuff works. I'm the guy that runs the agency, right? I know how this stuff works, and I can do this for you, but it's not going to be on your timeline." Now, for the last couple of years, that's been sufficient. But through the course of doing work with this individual, the need has arisen, right? Like, so, and I got to be like super clear. The sites that we build are not simple websites. This is part of the problem with the WordPress environment. This is part of the problem with everyone thinking that AI is going to answer all their questions. This is the problem with people assuming that what someone else does is easy. Is it easy to make a WordPress website? I think it is. Is it easy to make a WordPress LMS website? Well, I think it is. I've been doing it for 12 years. I should be able to do it, right? Is it easy for someone that's never done it before to learn all the intricacies of what gets checked, what doesn't get checked, what gets uploaded, what gets leveraged, what add-ons do you use, what integrates with the other thing the best? No, it's hard. It's hard. And so when we are in the agency role, we share with people like, "Hey, yeah, you want to build this project? Sure. This is what it would take to build your project. This is what it would take for hosting and maintenance. That maintenance includes X, Y, and Z. We also have website support available beyond the hosting and maintenance." Now, the maintenance for us is we just update the WordPress core and the plugins on a regular basis and make sure there's no conflicts on the site. Believe it or not, like that's incredible, right? Because think about where you might be hosting your websites. Like, if you're on WP Engine or something like that, they're not going in and updating all your plugins for you and giving you reports, right? So we do that. We do that. And there's also website support. Website support is, you had us build you this package, right? And you want to focus on running your business, not being a webmaster. And so you're going to reach out to us for things like, "Hey, could you help me build this email funnel? Could you double check this connection to Facebook? Could you, help us with some SEO oriented content for X, Y, and Z?" These are all things that the agency can do. We have packages for all of this stuff, right? And so there's website support, and then there is hosting and maintenance. And then, of course, there's the project that we build. Now, what happens a lot is clients, customers, you build something. Now, there's a big difference between, like, I have a 5-page brochure WordPress website, right? I got home, services, about, contact page, whatever. And that's it. Like, there's a big difference between that and a dynamic, e-commerce learning management system, community-based website that's interactive with hundreds of users and all these things going on. There's a huge difference. There's a span of it's like an infinite span of stuff that can go wrong, right? It's in there. Now, I am not disparaging the tools. I'm not going to tell you that this LMS tool is a disaster. It's like a hand grenade waiting to go off. I'm not going to tell you this e-commerce tool is rife with problems and you have to be in there constantly, 4 hours a day, making sure that it works. That is not the case. What is the case is the sites themselves are complicated and people don't know how to use these tools that are integrated with each other in an efficient way, and things go awry. People do weird things. Then there's updates, right? So let's say there's an update and something gets deprecated or something doesn't connect anymore, or there's an integration that's not communicating properly. And if you work with me, you'll know how I feel about these things, because as a customer, you might come to me and say, oh, there's this other tool that my friend told me about, and I want to put that on the learning management system. I want golden spinning stars on each course or something. And I'll say, hey, you're the customer. If you really want to do that, we can do that. But I need to let you know this will create, this might create hardship going forward. This will create a maintenance opportunity going forward. This will create it, right? So I'm very upfront about these kinds of things. And so the reason I say that this week is unique, and it kind of puts us in a kind of a unique comparison space. And I'm going to throw this up right here. It's like, just hire the professional up front. It's cheaper in the long run. So the client that I've had for years, that I've done a lot of pro bono work, we finally said, hey, you have a lot of things you want to do with your business and you're not doing them, right? You want to do email campaigns, funnels, you want to have extra forms. She wants all this very interactive experience for students and visitors to the website, but doesn't know how to build these interactivities or to maintain these interactivities, or what to even do with the interaction once it occurs. Like if someone fills out a form, okay, they filled out a form. Now what? Now what are you going to do with them, right? Shouldn't have any of that stuff in place. And so we very humbly put together a proposal. We sent it to her, and the proposal, we figured it all up. This is everything she wants to do, and that's going to run probably $12,000, $13,000, $14,000. Okay, we took that and we said she's been with us for years. We again, understanding her personal story and journey, I said, you know what? Let's just cut that in half. Let's $6,500. Let's just tell her for $6,500 we can take care of it, and we can split that up over some payments. I'm not here to try and bankrupt people, right? I want to help people find success. And so I'm like, let's cut the price in half. Let's put it on a payment thing for her. Let's try to help her out. We sent it to her, and she declined it, which is fine. I am not upset that somebody declined something we offered. Got to be very, very clear about this. Not upset about the declination. She hired somebody else. Fine, hire somebody else. It's your website. All of our customers know up front, hey, this is your website. That customer data, that's your data. Anything that you want to move the website, you can move the website. Now, we cover the cost of the licensing for the tools that are in the website. So the CRM, the LMS, we cover that as part of the hosting. So if you move the website, we're obviously going to take our licenses out of the products, right? So we're going to take the licensing out. The tools will still work. They just won't update and you won't get support on them. That's up to you. You can go get a license, right? Like in the Lifter LMS case, right? It's my license in the website. We host it, we take care of it, and that's totally cool with Chris and the team over at Lifter LMS, because that's how the Infinity Bundle works. But if she takes that website and goes somewhere else, I'm not going to keep providing support and updates for those products. I'm not making anything off of it, right? So we'd pull the license out, and then she could buy a license. She could buy a license direct through Lifter, or she could, sublet, subcontract, hire somebody else that has the licensing that puts it in for her. So that's how that would work. And so it's yours. Like everything's yours. When we build you a website, everything's yours. The website's yours. The data is yours. All that stuff is yours. And so she says, I'm going to hire somebody else. Okay. And I'm fine. I'm totally fine with that. Hire somebody else. That's great. Again, we were going to do the work at 50% off anyway. So there were no margins. We weren't making money on this deal. This was just really to help a customer out. And so I start getting messages that are like, hey, I hired a team, blah, blah, blah. They don't know how to access SendGrid or what SendGrid is. I'm like, well, first off, you chose to get SendGrid on your own. You didn't want us to manage that for you. So SendGrid's yours, right? So if you want to give them access to your SendGrid, you can. But they don't know what it is. Hold on, time out, boom, boom. You hired a marketing agency that doesn't know what SendGrid is. That's a huge red flag. And I wrote that right in a message right back. You hired people that don't know what a SendGrid is. That's a huge red flag. Something's wrong. And so this, am I a professional? I think you are. I think this is Adam. Adam says, am I a professional? Yes. Yes, Adam, I believe you are. And a gutsy professional to get on and talk about how much money all of your projects have made. I really enjoyed that video. I shared that with my wife, by the way. I thought that was rather endearing. So I start getting messages. The website's not functional. They say they need access to this, they need access to that the website's not functional. There's a lot of structural issues in the website. Okay, what are we even talking about? Okay, so then I said, send me an example. She goes, well, like this form doesn't even work. And so I go into Fluent Forms, which is in the website, and I look for the form that she says doesn't work. It's not in Fluent Forms. It's not in Fluent Forms. So I start searching through the website, right? Where is this form that doesn't work? Where did this thing come from? And I find a page that says, hire somebody for this, right? I don't want to give her all away, but it says, hire somebody. And there's a form in there. So, okay. Where's it? So it's some kind of like weird hand-built form on a page. Doesn't look bad. I'm not gonna here to bash people, right? Doesn't look bad. But it's not connected to anything. It doesn't do anything. Doesn't work with anything. And so then I write her back and she's like, I need to know what kind of support you're really willing to give me since the website's not working. Whoa. Again, time out. What do you mean the website's not working? I go to the URL and it comes up. I see the homepage. I see the course we built for you. I can see that people are buying the course, which is great, right? You've got revenue. People are buying the course. I can look into my notifications and I can see that people have submitted homework. People have submitted assignments. People have taken quizzes and passed. I can see in here that you've issued certificates off of this course. So I built you a website that's not only functional, it's making money. It's making money. So then you go back to what's not working. Like when you say the website has structural issues and then the website's not working, what are we talking about? And this is the angst that comes from not having a professional. Okay. She's obviously hired people that are bargain basement, cheap folks, hobbyists that are thinking, hey, we could run a business. And this is normal. This happens, right? There's a maturation process that happens when people join any kind of technical field. So I'm not here to necessarily bash them. That's not the problem. The thing is the expectations, right? The expectation or the it's on the tip of my tongue, the words I'm trying to find. But just assuming that because I made your website 3 years ago, I'm going to just jump in and fix and modify and play with whatever someone else that you're paying to do is breaking. And so I wrote her back and I said, you're telling me the website doesn't work and you're referring me to this form. This form is not built with your default form tool. Your default form tool is Fluent Forms. Here's a screenshot of Fluent Forms. Here's the 3 forms that you have built in your website that work, that are connected to something, that do something. This form, screenshot, is nothing that we've made and nothing that we have put together for you. So websites don't come with warranties, right? And so I very specifically wrote, websites don't come with warranties. You know, you do not have a support. You don't have a website support package. You didn't want to pay for that. I have given you a ton of free work, but I can't keep giving you free work when you're hiring other people at bargain basement rates to come in and damage the work that we do. Can't do it. Here's the deal. We will not be an obstacle to you if you want to relocate your website. If you want to move your website to another host, you are free to do so. I will not stand in the way of that. You can migrate this thing tomorrow, wherever you want to go. You can take this thing and leave. And again, not angry. I feel sorry for some people. It's because no matter how far you lead them, they still seem lost. So in this particular instance, we have sent them, multiple times. Here's the playlist for all of the tutorials on Fluent CRM. Here's the tutorials for the entire playlist of all the tutorials for Fluent Form. Here is, the Academy link to Lifter LMS. I can't possibly jump on Zoom calls with you and teach you everything you need to know about those three major products, in 2 or 3 hours of Zoom. You're going to have to do some legwork and teach yourself how these things work if you want to keep running this project, running this website. Your other option is to, like I say here, hire the professional up front. It's cheaper in the long run. So, and there's more to this story. So I'm trying to lay out a contrast. So let me get to the contrast, because the contrast is going to be amazing. This is going to be night and day. So all of this is taking weeks, if not months, to have these conversations. She's paying somebody month by month to do SEO and marketing content, but there is no SEO work to be seen on the website. Nothing's changed as far as any of the SEO tools on the website that I can see. I've taken screenshots of things in the past because I do that. I'm a little paranoid. So I've taken screenshots of things, and I go back and I look, and nothing's changed. So I don't know what she's paying these cats for, but they're not doing work that's getting anywhere. Like creating a form in the website that looks like a form but doesn't do anything like a form, that's not a form, right? So you need to have a way to connect these things. And I say, look, this website is a very good website. Like I can't believe I'm having to come, like I am the professional in the space. I have been working directly with Lifter LMS for over half a decade. I'm trying to think who's more qualified to build a PowerPack Lifter LMS website, host it and maintain it for you. Like there's just not. And so, yeah, sometimes my pricing indicates that. But here's why my pricing indicates that. Look what's happening to this poor woman. She's hired some other people that say they're professionals, and they're hobbyists. They're breaking everything they touch. And now the message I got last night was, since I can't get your help, they want to have control panel access to the hosting account. If you think I'm going to give these jokers that don't know what SendGrid is access to my server, you've lost your mind. The only option at this point really is to say, look, you're just going to have to take your website and go. Like you're just gonna have to offload this thing, put it wherever these people want to host it, and kiss all that work goodbye. If anything, I think as a measure of good faith, I'm gonna today, I'm gonna do a full backup of the website, and I'm just gonna keep it for 3 months or 6 months. I don't know, but keep a backup of it, because I have a feeling whatever they build in there, it's gonna break. It's just whatever they do, it ain't right. These folks don't know what they're doing. And worse, they've given her such a deal that she thinks she's getting ahead of the game, right? She actually believes that there's structural issues in the website and parts of the website that don't work. And it's like, if your website didn't work, how would you be swiping credit cards, signing up students, pulling in revenue, giving certificates, quizzes, assignments? How would all of that be working if the website had structural issues? The website does, and the website's gorgeous. The design of the website's great. Her assets, videos, pictures, all that stuff, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. And so what she really needs is she needs a marketing expert to come along, whether it's me or it's somebody else. She needs an expert that's going to charge her appropriately. I go back to this. Hire the professionals, it's cheaper up front. She needs a professional that's going to come in and generates like some SEO level blog content. She really needs to pump up her blog. She hasn't done anything with her blog. It's been sitting there for 3 years with stagnant posts in it. So she needs to pump up that blog. She needs, all that integration with social media, spread those blog posts. She has a ton of videos. And what I expressed to her was, if we took over your marketing, we would take your videos and we would just drop them into shorts. And we would be peppering social media with all kinds of shorts of just beautiful video snippets that would go everywhere. And the goal is spread the net as wide as possible and funnel that traffic back to your website. Now, if you're in the system, right? If you're an enterprise level client, or you are an agency like we are, and you're professional, you've gone through the maturation process, and you're professional, you understand up front. When I said I was going to do all that for $6,500, there's most people that would say, Kurt, that's stupid. That's crazy. You would do a ton of work for her for $6,500, and the results would be like amazing. But now we're 3 months into hiring some hobbyists. None of the SEO stuff in the website's changed. There's no posts added to the website. There's no tangible content that I've seen anywhere about her business anywhere. And the one form that they built isn't even a form. It's not connected to anything. It looks like a form, but it's not a form. And that to me is lunacy. So I appreciate Adam here. It says, good stuff. A website is amazing, but when there are several hands in the cookie jar, it can and often does go crazy. It does. And at some point, Adam, I think you'll back me up on this. At some point, you got to be the mature person in the room and go, hey, this is wacky. You guys just, you know what? Just migrate the thing. Just go. Just get out of here. It sounds sad. It sounds mean, right? It almost sounds like I'm not supporting my client. I've already done. If I said out loud how much free work I've given this customer, I'm pretty sure people would be angry at me. They'd be like, well, no wonder she acts like this. You gave her all that work for free. She thinks it's going to be free forever. It's not free forever. And that's the thing. Like, she is struggling to recognize that, like, hey, we gave you a proposal and you declined it and you hired somebody else. The free ride's over because you've taken money and you've given it to someone else. And so that's gone. That wasn't me. That is Giselle. See, I don't know why the LinkedIn stuff doesn't come through with names. See where it says LinkedIn user on the screen? So Giselle, great to have you. I love having you here. So let's talk about when it goes right. Can we do that? Because I've just spent 15 minutes telling you, how this position I'm in when things went wrong. Let me tell you how it goes when it goes right. And this is one of those things where I just think about like, I'm the professional. They hired me. I took on the project. I put it to a schedule. I broke it into 4 phases. So and I can tell you who the client is now because it's going so amazingly well. So pfuniversity.org. It's a Christian-based educational program that teaches people all about family office management. If you ever heard of family office management, these are the cats. These are the family office management people. And so I love this. I'm going to share these comments up here. Yes. Backup, screenshots, etc. Yes, I do all that stuff. I'm a lunatic when it comes to that. And the amount of plugins that show up after the fact is nuts. We had that conversation. I had her on. I said, what are these? Where did this come from? She goes, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? This is your website. We did not install these. So we go in and we do the WordPress core update and we do the plugin updates on a regular basis as part of our hosting package. And I had to send her an email and go, you have a bunch of stuff. You've 2 new caching tools in your website. And bad news, when you have a dynamic website, you can't have more than one caching tool, or you run the risk of having all bad, user experiences, right? Things won't work because they get cached weird. And, people can't log in, can't log out, can't complete a quiz, stuff like that. And she goes, well, I don't know where that stuff came from. Okay, well, it's got to go. It's got to go. Did you pay for any of these tools? Is there anything you want to keep versus what I'm going to get rid of? And to be honest, that's extended way beyond doing updates. Right now we're having consultation Zoom calls and where did this, and it's just constantly, well, I don't know. I didn't do it. I thought you did it. No, I didn't do this stuff. You can't keep putting junk in the back of this website and thinking it's going to get better. Like, it's not going to get better. Unless of course you pay us and we do, SEO or page speed work or something like that. But I digress. Okay. pfuniversity.org. pfuniversity.org. A couple of old dudes get in touch with me and they say, hey, we want to build this e-learning platform. We understand you're the pro with Lifter LMS. We'd like to hire a professional. I found out after the fact, they hired somebody else before me and tried to do it with somebody else, and that person just couldn't put it together. They just couldn't make it happen. And to that I get like, I'm confused, right? I'm like, you hired someone off the Lifter LMS experts page and they couldn't. I mean, I get it. They're older folks and they have a ton of content, but you just have to you have to be a project manager. You have to sort these things out. And so when I met with them, did a needs assessment, I said, okay, here's the deal. You've got, 4 course tracks that you want to launch with. Each of those tracks is roughly 7 courses. Each of those 7 courses is going to have 10 to 12 lessons. Each of those lessons has 3 videos, right? And yeah, okay. And you're doing the lesson content, you're doing the video content. It's 2 people, right? One's doing the text, one's doing the video. And then you want me to take that and put it together in the lesson format and build out all of these lessons, all of these courses, and then combine them as course tracks, and then create the access plans that lets people buy those courses a la carte or buys those courses as course tracks and memberships like that. And they said, yeah, that would be, oh my God, that'd be perfect if you could do that. It took 2 weeks, right? It took 2 weeks to get their content kind of organized and put together what we're going to call an MVP sample. So it was like, hey, here's a basic website. I'm using this as kind of a templated example. Here's some content that we factored in. Here's some content we took from one of your other properties, so we know that matches, your voice, your messaging, and we got this put together so far. What do you think? And they go, oh my gosh. And this old dude's like, I'm getting teary-eyed. He's like, he told me, he said, I was trying to tell my wife what it's like when there's years of work and finally someone comes that can make that years of work tangible. Someone can take years of work and make it make sense and show it to the world. And he was very emotional about it, very emotional. And that's part of the reward that comes with this. Now, this project, they hired me as the expert. I'm the person. I was on a call with them yesterday. They introduced me to a new person on their team, and they basically said I was like the cardiovascular system of the project. I kept everything running. I kept everything floating. I kept everybody on point. That's kind of like my job. When I run a big project for my agency, I am like the general contractor. I run and if the client's responsible for assets and content, they become part of the team. Even though they're the client, they're the boss. I'm still the project manager. So we still have conversations very much like your stuff is due on Friday. Where's your stuff, right? And so all of that's been working really well. We had deadlines. We took the project and broke it into 4 phases. That last phase is SEO content, social media, email funnels, and analytics. And that just goes on and on, month over month over month, on top of the hosting and maintenance. So they have opted for using us as the hosting and maintenance, like the other client I was talking about, but they also sign up for website support at a very high level. So website and marketing support. And so we pitched the number. They said yes. right? Now, some people are going to say, well, that number seems a little high, Kurt. Okay, the number might seem high, but think about the last story I just told you, where someone paid the number they thought should have been right, or the number they thought was justified, and they've got forms on their website that don't go anywhere, forms that don't connect to anything, right? So when you hire a professional, things happen. So everything that we've done in the 4 phases has happened not only on time, but ahead of schedule. We've been, at one point, we were a solid month ahead of schedule. Phase 1 went flawless. We launched the MVP as a sample, and they got to play with the website and orient themselves on the website. Phase 2, we added the CRM tools, the form tools, and started to build out their email list for them because they had email lists from all over the place. Like, they were very scattered. And so we took all of the data that they had and combined everything into one cohesive CRM. And then when phase 3 started, we had the ability then to connect our SendGrid to make sure that we're not depending on WordPress to send emails. So we connected SendGrid and then partitioned that list into test lists. I want to be really careful about this. I want to talk to you about how we do these things. So, and again, difference between a professional and some hobbyist. A hobbyist probably would have taken all of those email lists, slammed them into some document, tried to make a CSV file out of it, uploaded it, make an email, and hit send, right? That's not what we did. We took all of that stuff, made the list, went to zero bounce, paid $100, made sure that anything that would be a scrubbed email, anything that would be a bounce, anything that was a bad email, anything was like do not mail, we paid extra to find out like who didn't want to receive email. Like, so we get this giant report back, you know, and out of the thousands upon thousands of names on the list, there was like 1,200 names on that list that should not be emailed. That is hugely important, because if you're going to run a CRM through the back end of your own website, a brand new URL, the last thing you want to do is get branded by all the IPS out there, internet service providers, that you're a spam source. And so we went through, we scrubbed the list, we re-uploaded the list, and then what we did was we sectioned the list into sample lists, into test lists. So test list 1 was 300 people. Test list 2, 600 people. We sent test list 1 out. Now, this was just this morning. We sent test list 1 out this morning. 40% open rate and 7% click-through rate. And then we looked at the back of the website and people were actually filling in the lead magnet. Okay, so everything's working. We've got the course pages, sales pages, lead magnet page, email funnel, all of it's working. People fill out the form, they enter into the funnel. Boom, boom, boom. The unsubscribe option is obviously visible. Anyone that doesn't want to be there can unsubscribe. We had 4 unsubscribes on the first test email sent. So then we just, not long ago, sent to the second list. The second list has 600 people on it. Okay, so we sent 300 as a sample just to make sure. Then we sent 600. Our open rate is currently, and it's just recently sent, but the open rate's already at like 28%. And the click-through rate is already at, I think, 4%. And so I'm relatively optimistic that this is going to be a strong list. But I'm not sending to thousands of people at one time. I'm breaking it into bite-sized pieces so we can do some analytics and see, okay, do we have a high unsubscribe rate from this section? Do we have... That's the difference between hiring a hobbyist and hiring a professional. Hiring a hobbyist and hiring a professional. I take screenshots of the reports, I send an email off to the team, and I go, great news. As we know, today was the day we were going to do our launch email. Our first test went out to 300 people, and these are our stats from that first test. I send that out to everybody. Everybody goes, oh my God, this is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Kurt. You know, it's so nice to hire a professional. Yes, because we put it on a schedule and we get it done. Not only that, I never ask for more money. Like, the budget is the budget. We're going to be done on time and under budget, period. And that's not what I'm hearing from other people. That's not what I'm hearing for the experiences out there. So I wanted to give you that contrast. And I'm kind of over time at 35 minutes already, folks. I'm sorry. But there are pros and cons to being a professional. We had our sewer line back up on us 6 months ago. So I noticed something gurgling up in the backyard. Ooh, I think that's poop. Just being real, right? Something's gurgling up in the backyard. Ooh. And then immediately I'm like, I could probably just get a snake and snake that. And then I think to myself, I'm not a plumber. What if I shove that thing down there and I break a pipe? I'm in an older house. So I'm like, what if I break something? What if this happens? What if that happens? Oh my goodness. We called the Rooter people. It's like Roto-Rooter, but I think it was a different name. They're like Rootin' Tootin' or something. I don't know. But we called this guy. Super nice guy. Came out. And he says, yeah, you know what? I think I'm just going to snake it. I think, and he, the clog was like 95 feet away. It was like at the end of our property line. And he's, oh, I think I found it. Pushes through, boom, everything flushes out. He says, run this, run the other thing, run the sink, run the toilet, all this stuff. Okay. Bills us $155. It was $170 to rent the snake from Home Depot. So I actually saved money hiring an expert. And this is what I'm talking about. If I would have been doing this myself, I would have run to Home Depot. I would have rented the stupid thing. I would have came back. I would have had to figure out how the stupid thing works. And then I would like, what gloves am I going to wear? I'm certainly going to wear gloves. I'm sticking this thing in a pipe full of poop. So now I got to buy gloves. You know, do I want to get my pants dirty? Just think about all the stuff. And this is what people making their own websites are going through. You know, they're basically sticking their hands in a pile of poop, right? They gotta like, what am I going to use for a form tool? What am I going to use to contact customers? How do I know people are getting my emails? How do I know that, people can swipe a credit card and make a purchase? Why? You don't, because you didn't hire a professional. You're having an educated guess. That's the best you've got, right? I feel like this is the case with a lot of things right now. Because of AI and because I can sign into Claude and ask Claude questions and get code and plug things in and see things on my screen, it seems like everything's easy. It's not easy. Understanding the concepts sometimes could seem easier, but in practice, using the tools and becoming skilled with the tools is difficult. It's more difficult than the marketing lets on to. And so I just want to encourage people. If you're running a business and you want to focus on running your business as opposed to running a website, I just want to encourage you, hire a professional. If you don't want to hire us, that's fine. That's fine. I'd love it. I'd love it if you went to manananomas.com and you looked at what we can do and you said, oh, wow, it turns out Kurt really could help us. That'd be great. That would be awesome. But find somebody. Find someone that's a professional. Ask for some referrals or recommendations, or ask for some detail. Like, do you have experience on these types of projects? Understand that every project's different. For example, the one that I'm bragging about today, about PF University and how well that launch is going, we are still looking at the analytics from those first 2 emails that have gone out, right? And so what we're going to look at is, okay, great. We had a great open rate. We had a great click-through rate. But how many people actually signed up for the lead magnet? And if they signed up for the lead magnet, how many people are actually opening the emails that are getting sent from the email funnel that came from filling out the lead magnet? Like all of that stuff, we're going to have to know that, because we have to understand what is making people, causing people, what is inspiring people to click through and make purchases. And then we have to tweak things, right? You can't be, you have to be professional about it, but you can't be afraid to tweak things, move things around a bit, change the title of something. For example, one is a button that says, access our free course now, or a button that says, how about a free test drive? They both mean the same thing. But which one of those things is going to get someone to click the button, put in their email, and take the course for free? Which one? We don't know. So we're going to try them both, right? That's what a professional does. A hobbyist fills in the button and doesn't know what to put. And they just go, enroll now. Well, that's not a real call to action. That doesn't speak to my emotions. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Hire a professional. It's cheaper in the long run. I know Adam Silver was on here for a little bit. Giselle was here. Folks, like, share, follow, all of those things. Send me your comments. Love to interact with you. I'm having a blast. Like, ever since April, everything seems to be really driving here for us really, really well. So I want to thank you if you're a part of that. If you've been making referrals or recommendations, that's great. And I'm looking really forward to growing our team. So things are great. So if I sound like I'm complaining, I'm not. What I'm trying to do is say that there's a definite difference between hiring a professional and hiring a hobbyist. And unfortunately, a lot of hobbyists portray themselves as professionals. So you want to look for associations. You want to look for recommendations. You want to see some samples. And a lot of cases, the pricing is going to be an indicator of whether they're a pro or not. For example, if you went to the Lifter LMS website, you went to lifterlms.com/experts, I'm on the list. I have that association, right? Someone else that doesn't have that association, is that someone that you would feel as strongly to hire to work on your e-learning website? Or would you really want to know that somebody was endorsed, right? Endorsed or in partnership with Lifter LMS? I got to tell you, if I'm going to build an online course site and I don't have an intimate knowledge of how that works, I'm probably going to want to make sure I hire someone that has association, someone that knows, right? Someone that can say, oh, I have experience in that. I've been doing this for over a decade. Let me share with you some of the tools we would use. And don't worry, we'll configure it all for you and we'll make sure it's seamless on your end. I'm thinking about that other client. I feel bad because my heart hurts for her because I know she's in a spot. Let's just say she's in a spot. She's already hired people that don't know what they're doing. Now they've told her, they've confused her, and they said the website has structural issues. I'm still curious as to what that could possibly mean, right? The website has structural issues. Okay, great. The website's worked for 3 years. It's got customers. It's building revenue. Everything else is working. The only thing that's not working is the crap that you built that's not connected to anything. So if that's the structural issue, I would say you are the structural issue. But now I wonder, did she pay them up front? Did she already put herself backwards? Did she leverage this on credit cards? How far upside down and backwards did she go to try and get some help? Because she didn't want to pay for the professional. So when you don't pay for the professional, you're going to get what you get. And in this case, unfortunately, it looks like it's probably not the best of situations. And like I said, we could let the site go. We could say, hey, you're just going to have to migrate this somewhere. We're going to discontinue your hosting at the end of the month. Like, we could do that. We could be, hey, it's better for all parties. Let's not be angry with each other. We're just going to discontinue your hosting at the end of the month. You got to find somewhere else to host this thing. We could do that. But it makes me feel bad for her, you know? But I got to protect my server. I got to protect my other clients. So it's a weird thing. Folks, I'm going to call this one done, and I'm going to end with another video of the Pedal Academy because I love it.